That means get on your bike and ride, bitch. It's the Big 49 in HD streams. And here we go. Thunder Valley, Colorado is the round 3 of the motocross season, round 19, I guess, on the actual season. And we are just about ready to get into it. It is Stretch along with the Moto Man and Bookie. Kyle. What's up, guys?
Yo.
What's happening?
Where's Jason?
Where's he at?
Trying to avoid you.
He's on a flight
I don't
out of
believe
town.
that.
Yeah, he called earlier and said he was somewhere out in the IE and he was trying to avoid you.
Is he at a crack house?
Something like that.
Yeah, that's what they have at
Not
IE.
even a crack house. He just said, is Stretch going to be there? And I was like, yeah, he normally is. And he's like, that guy's a dick.
Well, we
I was
all
like,
knew
well,
that.
we all knew that. I mean,
Yeah.
what else is new?
That's
So,
nothing new.
I mean,
Yeah.
geez.
So he's trying to
Yeah.
avoid you.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah, I'm surprised Kyle even showed up today because he normally tries to avoid you too.
I got bored.
Kyle does try to avoid me.
I have no other friends.
Kyle's like, where's Stretch? I'm hiding. Stretch is mean to me.
Yeah.
As long as he's on the west side, not kicking me in the nuts, I'm good.
Yeah, that's true. You're at arm's reach. We're all boxed in today, coming in via remote headset.
Yeah.
I once again, I try to avoid Stretch most of the time. Actually, I'll be really honest with everybody.
Yeah, I wish you avoided me more, to be honest with you.
I wake up in the morning and it's like, how can I dodge him today?
By the way,
how can I get away?
it's about to get weird because I only have 2 jobs now. I have effectively quit my my main job, and now I only have 2 jobs, so I'm going to be around normal human hours a lot more now.
So the
no.
goal today is then we have to find Stretch a new
I
job.
was going to say, there's our warning.
So
Wait a minute. Have you been talking to my wife?
I'm thinking, all right. You know that grocery store that's down the street was a Boys Market?
Boys Market.
Yeah, or
go get an overnight job?
Bears Market?
Bears Market.
Bears Market, yeah. I'm thinking you could get an overnight job there. Doing security for
By the
Bears
way,
Market.
I'm too old to be doing overnights. I've realized
don't know.
after doing overnights for 2 years in a row. I'm like, man, that wore me down. I am over the overnight thing.
I'm a firm believer that Stretch in a onesie in front of Boys Market, that could be pretty entertaining.
They don't have that kind of money. Because, by the way, that's not off the table. It's just about how much you're going to pay me. It's like, well, you'd have to pay me this much, and I don't think they
What
have
would that do for their business, though?
Oh, it'd boom. It would blow up. I would have men and women coming in. Everyone would be like, man, I want a piece of that giant hunk mountain of a man. I want to roll around on that fat, hairy thing.
You'd be like, oh, it's raining men.
Oh, man. When I come out, it's typhoon season when I'm coming out.
Gee whiz.
God.
Oh, man. Today, guys, we are at Thunder Valley. Let me tell you about the track. It is really, really, really rutted, and people are already complaining about the ruts being so deep and it being very hard packed. It's a really hard track, so the ruts are going to get worse, and they're not going to go anywhere because it's so hard.
Really?
It's going to be a gnarly track today. And expect people to fall, because when you get ruts that deep and they're hard and they don't break down, what happens? You come out of a rut or you catch a foot peg or something like that, and you're going to go down. So there could be some crashes.
It's outdoor.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
outdoor for you.
One big crash already today. Carson Mumford took
Oh, man.
did you see that
Dude,
ride
that
he
was
took?
bad. That was bad. I saw your post. That was bad.
Dude, Carson Mumford, it looked like he did exactly that. It looks like possibly he caught a rut, coming up the face of a jump.
Yeah, cross-rutted.
And then at the peak of the in the air, he was off the bike doing like a Superman thing and came down on the bike and just ate it.
Kind of reminded me of Reed back in the day at whatever that track was. Kind of the same thing. Cross-rutted and just
bam.
all bad.
Yeah, so expect a lot of that. Jet Lawrence had a little incident in qualifying as well. Went a little wide on an off-camber jump face, and then smacked his hand on his throttle hands. His right hand just
Ouchie.
smacked it hard on like a sign marker. And what's funny is he instantly in the air took his hand off the handlebar and was shaking his hand, and then the rest of that round of
Wait a
qualifying,
second.
he was
Are
checking his hand.
I'm getting double audio here.
I'm getting double stretch.
Wow.
What happened?
Okay.
Oh my
What was
God!
that?
We can only take one.
I have
Yeah.
no
We
idea
can't
what
have
that
two
was,
stretches.
but I took it out right there.
You know what? If you double the stretch, we might just double the ratings.
I just thought it was the voices in my head.
Yeah. Kyle's like,
Stretch is always haunting me.
I'm tripping out.
I'm just not gonna say anything because people already think I'm crazy.
I'm
Help me, man, I'm tripping
tripping. I'm
balls.
tripping B.
Just act normal
Wow.
as much as I can.
He's here. He's lying. He's in the other room. He's effing with me.
That's
That
what it
damn
is.
box. Demon
Kyle's
box
about-
is still here.
Kyle's about to run out of the room.
I'm looking at the box right now. It just flapped at me.
Well, the box is empty.
Yeah.
We took the ghost out of it. It's just an empty box now. You should play with it. You should take it home.
It moved around from the show yesterday from LCR radio.
You should take it home.
Oh.
And see if it's still not infected.
Should I?
Yeah, just to be safe.
Yeah, I have a hard enough time sleeping.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I am in the firm belief that Kyle should take that.
Moto
Yeah,
wants it out
I'm
here.
with you, Moto. I think. By the way, if he loses today, he's taking the box home.
That would be fun.
You know what? I'll take it.
You take it home. It's got to sleep under your pillow.
No, that's not happening. That's not happening.
Under your bed.
It's got to sleep under your pillow.
I'm going to put it in my neighbor's mailbox.
That's messed up.
Could you imagine finding that demonic-looking thing in your mailbox? You'd be like, "Oh God!"
Just randomly.
Yes, that would freak you out.
You go out expecting the water bill. What the hell is this thing?
What is this? Then you call the police because you think it's a bomb. It's something creepy looking. Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness.
By the
Anyway.
way, today as well, shout out to Chase Sexton. Sent him a little note yesterday just saying, hey, get well soon. And we heard back from Chase Sexton online today.
Nice.
So always good to hear from him. He's not ready yet. He's not racing this week with the concussion and the mono. And I know I heard you guys yesterday talking about the conspiracy theory, which I don't think is too far off, Moto.
I mean, is he not ready, or is he being blackballed?
As I said, it's a conspiracy theory.
I agree with Moto.
And it holds water. Like I'm like that's plausible to me. It's not outrageous at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Occasionally, I come up with these wacky conspiracy theories. I put on a tinfoil hat.
I do that every day.
Yeah, he does.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
By the way, have you heard all the insane UFO news I've been breaking
I knew
this
he was
week?
going to this. I saw that.
Dude, what about the one with the 10-foot tall aliens and the 911 call in
insane.
Vegas?
That's so crazy.
That one was pretty wacky because
Yeah.
I heard that in multiple different locations
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah, no, it's a real story. And like, what's weird is it wasn't like some crackhead in an alley behind a liquor store in Vegas that you see everywhere, like those zombies that walk around. This was just a family, and they were all seeing it, and they were all on the 911 call, and they were terrified. Like, yeah, it's like 10 foot tall, and it's staring at us. It's got big giant eyes. Well, this isn't a joke. This looks like an alien. Did you get someone out here?
Ooh,
That was crazy, dude.
God damn.
And then the government saying they have alien, or a guy from the government saying they've got all kinds of aliens and spaceships. There's been some great UFO news this week.
That's
All right, I got the intros loaded and done now. So,
You are ready to roll with the intro, so we can get.
I've been doing other things at the same time while you guys have been talking.
All right.
Looks like they're playing beta motorcycle commercials right now on the old Peacock.
was a
Okay.
KTM,
Speaking
I
of Beta, I saw yesterday Beta announced a really cool e-bike, and what I like the most about it is it's only like $5,000. That's pretty affordable. And
Really?
it's a cool looking e-bike, and it's a Beta, and it looks a little more motors. You know that one that's out there that looks kind of bicycle-ish, but motors kind of a hybrid of a bicycle and a motorcycle, full suspension. It's a little more like that, but little more motorcycle-y, if that makes any sense to you at all.
You mean like Alta was, or no?
Yeah, kind of like around those lines.
Because
But,
Alta was like a mountain bike with motorcycle.
Hold on,
pluses.
guys. Entertain the truth.
someone makes a really affordable one, it might change the game, and I think that's what maybe Beta's doing on the e-bikes.
Okay.
It's really solid. Like, I looked at it, was like, damn, and the price point is highly competitive.
Well, that's. I mean, they're trying to hit that competitive market and
Yeah.
see what happens.
But by the way, and that's another thing. As a dude that likes dirt bikes, I think it'd be cool to have one, but I would wouldn't want to throw away my gas burners.
And I've said that since day one, dude. Like, I give Jason trouble about Stark and stuff. I'm like, really? But
I'm back.
As long as you have that as an option.
Yeah,
don't have it
it's
as
cool.
your only bike.
Yeah, Moto, would you add we were just talking about Beta released a really cool e-bike this week, and it's only about $5,000.
Okay.
Which is a pretty cool
It's a decent price.
point.
It's a decent price point.
So we were talking about it. Would you be into, if you could get an affordable e-bike, into adding one into your staple?
Yeah, I mean, as an added feature, it would be really cool to have one, like just to tool around on. Like, for instance, when we go out to Fox, or we go out to Glen Helen, or we go out to, if we go out to Korea or anything like that, or LACR, and when you're at those big tracks, they're spread out. Like those outdoor tracks are just so spread out. I mean, Supercross is big enough as it is.
Yeah.
But Supercross is so congested anyway. There's too many people. You can't ride anything anywhere unless you have like a Segway or something. So I'm a firm believer, like for us in the industry, we need one. We need something
as a pit bike.
Yeah, as a pit bike, just to get around from point A to point B. Because if you have to get from, let's just say, the KTM trailer to where we're usually broadcasting at Supercross, that's a good, 25, 30-minute walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know why e-bikes are better, by the way, for pit bikes? Because you can hold a beer because there's no clutch.
See?
I'm not so much going down.
I'm
not going down that road. I'm just going down the road of, for us in the industry, it makes a lot of sense just because of the fact that we can go from point A to point B relatively quickly and get where we need to be, and the AMA doesn't have sanctions against it. So,
correct.
And neither does Feld, and neither do
The fun police.
the fun police have any sanctions against it, and it's for
It
us
is
it's
weird.
a utility.
Yeah, you get away with a lot more with an e-bike. They'll let them go anywhere as opposed to you ride a gas power. They're like, hey, get
For
that
instance,
out of
like
here.
a
What are you doing?
like a Saran, they look almost like a mountain bike, but they're an e-bike.
Yeah.
When we're at Anaheim Stadium for Supercross and we're going into the tunnel underneath and up into the actual floor of the stadium, and then we're usually parked on the other side next to the double hats.
A country mile away.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's on the complete opposite side of the stadium because you have to walk all the way around in through the pit area and then underneath. So you see a lot of guys in the press, like Motocross Action Magazine guys and other guys, they're rolling in on e-bikes, and they're just kind of coming in and they just stock them up against the wall, and then they just walk over to the track and do what they need to do, and then they're all done. They just get back on their e-bike and boom, they're right back out at their area.
Yeah.
And for us, I'm usually walking about 5 to 6 miles that day.
Yeah.
It is brutal.
It's crazy how much we end up walking at one of these races.
Oh, we walk a lot, man.
Yeah.
There is a ton of walking. And then, of course, if it's a sanctioned race, if it's an AMA and or an FIM sanctioned race, you're not allowed as a non-racer to be on anything motorized around the track.
Is that because of gasoline is flammable and it's a fire hazard?
No,
or is that because
it's because of the liability insurance that it takes to do that. In other words, if you're on an actual motorized, quote unquote, motorized vehicle, which we all know the e-bikes are motorized. I mean,
motorized where they're way faster than their non-electric counterparts.
Yes.
Yes.
When you're on a motorized vehicle, there is a special amount of liability insurance that usually the promoter has to carry in order to allow for that activity to go on, for pit bikes and things like that to happen. Because think about it, there's general publics walking around, you can run over people. I mean, one of the things I pitched to Feld a while ago with us was having our parking lot party out in the parking lot itself with the punk rock band and everything else going on out there, and driving audience to that will alleviate stress on the actual track experience, or the track, the pit area, the fan fest experience.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay? Because when you're in that fan fest and riders are trying to get from their trailer
Well, it's a pain in the ass for 'em.
onto the track, and they are literally just riding around people left and right, and it's amazing. I'm surprised somebody's kid doesn't get run over or something like that, because there's a lot of little kids. I'm talking 2, 3, 4-year-old children that are with their parents, and a rider's trying to get, to qualifying, and here you have mom, dad, and 25 kids running around in front of them, and they're having to do S-turns everywhere. It's kind of a mess. Whereas if you alleviate some of that stress, I'm not saying alleviate all of it, but I'm saying alleviate some of it just by having the parking lot party out in the parking lot, something to do out there that takes off some of that traffic and may alleviate some of that stress and some of that liability.
Absolutely.
Yeah. By the way, I was wrong. That bike runs for $4,800.
$4,800. I mean,
that's solid. It's 265 pounds, $4,800, top speed of 40 miles per hour.
That's a haul-ass bike.
Yeah, that's a good setup. Charge time 2 to 3 hours on a typical 110. Let's see. I'm just looking at everything on it. It's a cool looking little bike. The range is 50 to 100 miles, but if you put it on like rocket mode, that you get 30 to 60 miles on the battery.
What I'm thinking is that they're eventually going to probably put some sort of rules on e-bikes. But right now, I think for what we're doing, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no. By the way, look at this bike too. It's the closest I've seen to looking like a motorcycle to run in the price point of what the mountain bike looking ones are.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Full suspension, everything. It's kind of cool, and it just was announced this week. I'm definitely
That's a smart move for Beta.
Yeah, I think so too. Good way to make entry into the market.
So it's about the size of a 110. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Okay.
I wish it was next to another bike so I could see what it looked, what it looked like. But
Gotcha.
but yeah, it is. It's pretty interesting. The wheels
and of
are
course
aluminum.
Honda has now. Not that I'm taking away from Beta's thunder here, but Honda has that new 50
Kind of like a
version
50 on steroids.
It's like
a little
50
bit.
on steroids, and it's a little e-bike. And of course, if you put IMS pegs on it and higher bars,
Big boy it out.
Yeah, big boy it out, and put bigger triples on it.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
that would
Seat
also be
height's
another-
33 inches. So
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, that's what it is.
That's another good little cruiser around pit areas,
Yeah.
and it can get you in and out of stuff, and kind of fun.
Would you have to give Carmichael a boost, Stretch?
Oh, hey, dude. By the way, I came
No,
up with
it
a
actually
genius
looked normal
idea
to
for
him.
A1.
It actually looked normal for RC.
About normal? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
For A1, I found
Starting blocks?
I found online a guy called Mini Ozzy or Little Ozzy. It's an Ozzy Osbourne tribute band, but he's a midget.
Oh, gee
And
whiz.
he's got a little band, and they do Ozzy. They're basically an Ozzy Osbourne tribute band. But I'm like, wait a minute. If we put them all in Ricky Carmichael jerseys and have them just rock out at A1, there's nothing better than that.
The
That's
mini
the
RCs?
highest- Yes, it'll be Little Ozzy, and the Carmichaels is what it'll be. And I'm telling you that there's not higher entertainment than that at A1 next year if we can
Little
pull it off.
Ozzy and the Carmichaels. This is messed up, but it's funny.
This
I'm
is
gonna
what
give
I'm into.
I'm gonna give Stretch a funny point on that. Now,
Yeah.
here's something people need to know out there. If you're listening to us online right now in
Oh my
Radio
God.
Land, Stretch hates short people.
I love midgets though.
Okay.
I love midgets.
But he
Love
has
'em.
this love affair with midgets. So there's
Little
this.
people.
If you're intermediate, like between the height of, let's just say, if you're between 4'11" and 5'10",
If you're
Stretch hates your guts.
If you're semi short.
Yeah, if you're between 4'11" and 5'10", Stretch hates your guts.
You know why? Because then you just have
Okay.
short man syndrome and attitude. You're not amusing.
Okay, but
Yeah.
if you're above 5'11" into the 6 foot category, you get respect.
You're
and
just
if
normal.
you're below 4'11", we're talking like 4'3", 4'4", all the
Even
way
if-
down to
yeah.
2 feet.
Oh, he loves you.
Oh, he loves you.
Yeah.
But he loves
Little
you almost
people.
as a novelty because he wants to put you on his hood of his car as a hood ornament.
No,
or
I
something.
want to put him in my backyard in the dollhouse and have him
He
have a
can
family
bounce him
back
on
there.
his knee.
He can bounce him around,
Have some puppies.
Have
Let him
some
run around my
puppies.
backyard. Put him
wants
in a
to-
cage.
He wants to have like breeding scenarios. Like
yes.
he wants a calico one, and he wants like a tabby one.
You know what I want to do is find the two littlest little people I can have them breed, and then have my own line of little people.
He's gonna have
That's what I want.
a midget,
Exactly.
a midget kennel at his house.
Yeah. But I want
And
I
you
want
come
my
by-
own line.
You come by, meet the parents.
jeez.
Buy one of the litter.
And they'll see them and they'll be like, "Oh my God, that's one of Stretch's little people." That's what they'll see. They'll be like, look how little they are. They're Stretch's little people.
Just little people. You see,
That's
that's
what
how
I'm
he
gonna
wants to
have.
make his money.
Yeah.
See?
Just don't trip over him in the middle of the night.
It's not the fact that we're looking to make a business out of the radio business or
No.
we're looking to do anything with our normal lives. Oh, no. Stretch wants to actually make his money breeding little
Is
people.
that like human trafficking?
No, it's
'cause
not
they're
really.
little people.
It's more like novelty trafficking.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Novelty.
And I'm
Novelty
gonna be
trafficking.
you guys act like I'm not going to be nice to them. I'm going to love my little people. I'm going to treat them very
I'm gonna
good.
pet him and I'm gonna love him.
Yeah, I'm going to feed them and I'm going to play with them.
Okay, Lenny.
Yeah.
So what do you
be good.
What do you normally feed them? By the way, because is it
Little food.
do you feed them little
Like
food?
sliders. I feed them
sliders?
sliders. Yeah. So I
Okay.
feed them. I
Half
feed them
off
sliders.
Half off deals.
Yeah. Short ribs and sliders is what they
Short
really
ribs.
like. They love that.
Short ribs and sliders.
That's their favorite
There we
food.
go. They're stuffed.
Baby carrots are pretty good too, and little tiny potatoes.
Yeah, food's cheap for them.
Baby corn.
By the way, imagine when a fingerling potato is a baked potato to you.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I get it. I get it. It's a little barbecue.
Yes, little hibachi outside to feed the whole family, and they're inexpensive to feed.
Wow. Wow.
Dude.
little hibachi.
Yeah,
It's like a full-size barbecue to them.
I'm gonna have a little midget barbecue when we're done today. I'm thinking about it now.
Little midget.
Wow.
barbecue.
That's something I have.
And this
I
is
love
why.
it.
And this is why Stretch is going to hell. Just
Yeah.
FYI.
No, I'm not. I'm helping little. I'm helping. By the way, here's the thing. When we finally do a television commercial for Big 49, just so you know, it's only going to have little people in it. You know why? Because that is an underrepresented minority
Because the
of
name is-
marginalized people that I'm going to help out.
Because the name is Big 49.
Yeah, exactly. That's just funnier.
That just makes it even funnier.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, it's so big.
I mean, they're going to be on motorcycles racing each other, and they're all going to have on Ricky Carmichael jerseys. But hey, it's got to be funny.
That would be kind of funny.
Matches our little listening audience.
Yes, exactly. And it's only going to grow.
It's only gonna grow.
Yeah. Little people, big heart.
Yeah. One day.
Yeah, exactly. We're the little engine that could.
One day. One day. I think I can. I think I can.
I'm telling you guys, man,
Oh,
don't
man.
underestimate the 49. It's a grower, not a shower.
Oh, it's definitely a grower, not a shower.
Yeah.
That's why it is the Big 49.
You guys have you done your picks already? I know Kyle was working
dude,
on them with me.
yeah.
I
I
have
got
been
mine.
I've been seriously behind
Moto's
on
been busy.
everything. I've been busy doing everything from camera work to fixing cameras, making cameras.
Well, I have good news for
work.
you, Moto.
What's
There's
that?
only 5 guys in the 450s you got to worry about, so that one's easy. The
Just
250s, not so much.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah.
I hear that now they're bringing up B stock from farm league somewhere.
Well, a lot of 250 guys. By the way, this is a great segue. A lot of 250 guys moving up to 450s right now, and
Yep.
a lot of dudes that said, "Hey, F it, I'm going to go do the World Supercross," are tripping now that they finally announced the purse money for the Super Motocross season.
Yep.
And in the 450s, winner takes $1 million. Second place is 500. Third is 250. Fourth is 200. And then the guy that comes in last place, 22nd place,
Yep.
still gets $25,000, which is an astronomical amount of money for a privateer.
Yeah.
Oh, hell
That's
yeah.
a lot of money. So
For
a
sure.
lot of dudes that were going are like, dude, I wish they would have published this before we left, like before the end of the Supercross season. It would have been nice to know. And I was seeing a lot of those comments yesterday from like Kevin Moran's, from Josh Hill. Like a lot of guys like that are like, damn, like that, like they would like a chunk of that money. And it's a really nice payout for the Super Motocross.
It is, but I will say that World Supercross is no slouch.
Oh no, they're paying, and they here's what I love about them. They came in and said, hey, you know what? We're going to give you a lot more money and
Yep.
steady income, and you bounce, and plus you can travel the world. I mean, it's pretty effing cool. Don't get me wrong. The World Supercross came in. They are what forced them to do the Super Motocross,
That is it.
and that is why they dumped a bunch of money in all of a sudden, because they've been taking all that TV money and just sticking it in their pockets. And now they're giving a lot back to the riders. It's good to see the riders are finally going to get some cash.
Yeah.
In motocross in general. For racing.
It's about time. It's about time that the guys who do the sport actually start getting paid.
Yeah, so I'm all for that. On the let me go over some guessing games for you guys. I got these Super Motocross power rankings out this week.
Okay.
And they are surprising in the 450s. Where they've got people at is interesting to me. Obviously, in the 450s, number one is, come on, we all know.
Hunter.
Number one is Jet.
Excuse
Jet
me,
Lawrence.
Okay,
I was
but
thinking Lawrence.
so number two should be as obvious as number one, because number two has been number two in every single moto of the season, but he's not number two.
Jeff Ward.
Guess who they have at number two? So after Jet Lawrence
okay.
in the 450 Super Motocross rankings, who would be number two?
Johnny O'Mara. Johnny O'Mara.
Yeah, you've got nothing.
Reed
Moto.
Ferrandis?
It should be Ferrandis. Kyle is correct, but it is not.
No.
Yeah. Who has moved up 3 spots this week to number two is
Seth
Aaron
Inslow.
Seth.
Aaron Plessinger is at number
AP.
2 now
Yep.
in the 450 Super Motocross rankings. Ferrandis is 3, Cooper Webb 4, Adam Cianciarillo is 5, then Freddie Noren, and then Boutron, and then Masterpool, who's come up from the 250s.
You know, when I think about this
Where's
outright,
Stink Dog?
though.
Where's Stink Dog at?
Yeah.
Yeah, not in there.
Well, when I think about this outright, though, it's about damn time that Adam Cianciarillo gets a little taste right now. He gets a little bit of love. Even
Number 2 in qualifying today.
even if he has to, basically hamstring the entire 450 division to get there, it's about damn time Adam Cianciarillo gets a little love.
I like Adam C. And by the way,
agree.
Adam looked great in qualifying. I know that the problem with him, his issue, it prevents him for the long motos or where it really gets to him.
30 minutes.
But in qualifying, he was fire today.
Yeah, our conversation about that, he has been, learning how to re-ride the motorcycle for the past, I would say, 10 to 15 races. And he's been doing it the right way, I think, because he's been going in baby steps. And there's one thing that we don't talk about in this show, and that is we talk about practices and how people are doing in their practice periods and what they're doing in training and this and that and the other, but nothing beats a moto. You'll never know what you're going to do until you get on a track with 40 other riders, and that level of stress is going to retrain you on how to behave on the motorcycle. And
Well, it's different. It's not just putting in a lap. There's obstacles out there and other riders out there, and there's other people pushing you.
And Adam has been relearning how to ride the motorcycle, and it's been putting him in a situation where he has to almost relearn in a racing scenario, because you can't learn just in training and in practice. You have to learn doing it.
Yeah.
There's something about doing it.
On the job training.
And, and one of the things I talked to him about, he said, "Hey, Adam, what I've noticed this progression. Is this really the process?" And he kind of just did a little wink and a nod and said, "Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with this. I've had to relearn because of this chronic problem of me being able to grip and hold the motorcycle.
For 35 minutes on an outdoor race.
His grip strength just isn't there, and he's got a degenerate problem, a nerve problem in his arms that over time, based on how many injuries he's had and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Justin Barsh and I talked a little bit about this as well.
Another heartbreaker this week.
Yeah, about how much metal and just the things you have in your body that, being one of these riders, these guys are filled with screws. I mean, they're literally a walking, talking hardware store.
Yeah.
Okay.
Barsha's got even more now because he broke the hardware they put in that first surgery, and now they had to redo it. So he's got even more hardware in that collarbone now.
Wow. So yeah, they got plates and screws and pins and all kinds of stuff going through them.
Yeah.
And remember that in a lot of cases, those plates, pins, and screws last you your entire life.
Oh, yeah.
They don't take them out.
No.
No, they leave them in.
They just leave them in some cases. They're just like, all right, that's in the bone now.
Yeah,
The
do
bone's growing
shots,
around it.
Shots of WD-40 to keep them lubed up.
Well,
Yeah, it starts squeaking.
what does prevent a chronic problem, though, is chronic arthritis. Because whenever you break a bone or fracture a bone or injure a bone, as it's growing back, it also grows scar tissue into the bone and over the bone, and that creates an opportunity for arthritic condition to happen between ligaments. So a lot of these guys suffer from severe arthritic conditions later on in life, and even early on.
As an adult, I'll never forget this. I was working in radio somewhere around Hollywood, and I was at Carney's on the Sunset Strip, you know, the freaking chili burger place that's in the train car.
Very aware of Carney's.
Evil Knievel walked in.
Oh.
Yep.
And he was not looking good. He was literally dead man walking. He was so barely moving, and I don't know why he was in L.A., what was going on, but I was standing there, and my jaw hit the floor because I knew immediately who that was. Sure. Like, that is evil epic Knievel, dude.
Bobby Knievel, one of the last things that he came to Los Angeles for was, what's his name? Johnny Knoxville. Johnny Knoxville did a documentary movie, and we're all familiar with the Jackass series. We all you love Jackass. So the Jackass series was essentially based on Evel Knievel.
Yeah, you're just going to get hurt and say F it.
Yeah, well,
that's how it is.
Johnny Knoxville grew up watching Evel Knievel and loving Evel Knievel so much. Like, he thought the world of that guy. He was a true, inspiration to Johnny Knoxville. So he did a documentary movie called Being Evil. And that's when you probably ran into him at Carney's, was when he was here in Los Angeles, and he was sitting down with Johnny Knoxville, and they were talking about the old days. They were talking about him growing up in Montana. They were talking about his first jumps. They were talking about
that time frame's probably about right.
Yeah.
Because it was around that time.
And he came into the, I worked at iHeartMedia for 15 years, and he came into the lounge, Johnny Knoxville and Bobby Knievel did, to do an interview on the radio station just talking about promoting being evil. It was
So
on,
you saw him too.
Yeah, I saw.
You saw him not moving well.
Oh, I saw him and met him and talked to him and looked at him and
dude.
you know, he was not doing so well. But Johnny Knoxville
Was he with a walker?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I say when I saw him, he had a walker, dude, and I was just like, oh, evil.
Yeah,
oh,
he had
my
a walker
God,
and a
he's
cane.
got a Yeah, he was
But
effed up, dude.
it's one of the conversations I had last week with everyone, and I said, you know, faith is so important because we don't understand is a lot of these guys have very strong affiliations with God, and their faith is very, very meaningful to them. And Bobby Knievel was one of those guys. He would pray consistently to die.
Because he was about to die every damn
He,
jump.
he wished that he would die in a lot of
opposed to
cases,
dealing with
as
the
opposed
pain.
to dealing with the pain for the rest
sure.
of his life. And there were many times when, you know, he would just kind of wake up and he would be in a hospital bed and did not know how he got there. Had no clue.
By the way, speaking of concussions, I mean, not only did he break every bone in his body, but imagine how many concussions he had on top of it as well that were
man.
not monitored back then.
He was somewhat punch drunk, and he was even that way through the rest of his life. You know,
Yeah, dude,
a little
I'm
punch
telling
drunk.
you, I idolized him as a kid, as every kid did of that era. I remember building ramps in my front yard with trash cans, and you would jump them and go, Evel Knievel, and then you would eat it sometimes like Evel Knievel, and that was just the way you did it. And then to see him walk in and see him with a walker and see him just tore up was
I
oh
think
my
about his
God.
worst crashes. I think about his worst crashes where he
Oh,
did
dude.
13
Caesar's Palace.
Well, 13 buses in the United Kingdom. He should have died on that
Many times.
Well, but I mean that particular jump, he should have died. That was a pretty horrendous wreck. He was at Wembley Stadium when he did those 13 double-decker buses. And when he landed, obviously, the bike got sideways, flipped over on him, and he was just all over the place.
I think my record was 7 trash cans myself when I was doing Little Evil.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Then you get to the next one, which is obviously Caesar's Palace. Caesar's Palace was the debacle of debacles. I mean, come on, suspension.
That's what it was. No suspension, and you could tell he broke his hip on the landing because it hit so hard, and then at that point he was done. He broke his hip or his pelvis or whatever
Jumping
it was.
on an effing Harley.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, he was
Or
using a
whatever.
Triumph. He was on a Triumph
Excuse
on that
me.
one.
But a street bike. Is
yeah.
all I'm saying.
There's no such thing as a Triumph. I've never seen one.
No, he was actually on a Triumph Bonneville, I want to
I
say.
don't believe you.
He was on a Bonneville, which is a scrambler-style trambler.
Yeah, it was a double shocking thing
Yeah.
with about 4 inches of travel.
Yeah, there was no travel. And then the third one that really got him was that, believe it or not, was the Snake River Rocket.
Yep.
And that was pretty bad. They don't talk about that as much, but really when he went nose first into the bottom of the river, even though he had a parachute, it crumpled the whole front of that rocket
Yeah, which
device.
couldn't have weighed very much, was not very protective.
And it wasn't
Right.
very protective, and it crumpled the whole thing up, and he was wadded pretty bad in that accident. So he's had so many really bad accidents that there was times he literally prayed to die. You know, he asked God, like, take me away now.
Well, he's
just
dead now.
Pull me.
What finally got him at the end? What was how
chronic
did he
illness,
die?
cancer.
Okay.
He smoked cigarettes ruthlessly through this entire process, and
Because he was a due to the 70s.
well, and he used to drink very heavily. One of his things that this is before
You
the
say
days.
that like it's bad.
Well,
Yeah, I'm offended.
one of the things that one of the things they used to do
You're pissing off Kyle.
because Bobby Knievel was so against opioids and drugs.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
He figured that he could just old school cowboy work his way through it with just beer
Body
and
will
whiskey.
fix itself.
Yeah, the body will fix itself, and all I need to do is stay just drunk enough to where the pain doesn't bother me.
Numb the pain
Wow.
until it goes away.
Yeah, and he had a really bad alcohol problem, and then of course pain pills they gave him on top of that.
Yeah.
And he was anti-opioids. He was very much an anti-opioid person, which was probably in his favor.
If I was him, I would have walked around with an IV bag of opioids every day.
He had a thing about heroin, and he thought that the opioids would make him addicted and become a heroin junkie.
Well,
Which,
that's
by
what
the
it
way,
is.
he was ahead of his time
It's
because that's
synthetic
very
heroin.
true.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So
Well, dude, damn Oxy was heroin. Let's face
Right.
it. That's what started the heroin epidemic in America. Is Oxy.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he had big issues with all of that. But I recommend people, if you've got the time and the energy and you really want to know more about Evel Knievel, watch that Johnny Knoxville movie. It is not funny at all.
No.
It is sad.
It's not Knoxville.
Yeah,
typical.
It's not Johnny Knoxville
it's not
typical.
Jackass, it's not.
But it's called Being Evil.
Yeah.
And it's his story on Evel Knievel. And it has Bobby Knievel in it. And it has Bobby Knievel's son. And it has their family in it. And it talks about his failed marriages. And it talks about, losing everything to the IRS. Talks about his alcoholism. It talks about, his murder conviction, being in jail, hitting a man with a baseball bat just by having a hot head. It talks about all of this. So, yeah, he had that Evel Knievel was convicted of a murder 2. Not a murder 1, but a murder 2, which is a crime of passion. He killed a man with a baseball bat.
Like Humble Harv.
Yeah. So, it was a really touching but sad story, and yet our entire sport of pro motocross, and if you think about the freestyle side, because this was brought up this week with Pat Casey's passing, which is very sad. And by the way, our condolences go out to Pat Casey's family and his.
By the way, do we know, because he's a BMX guy, he's a bicycle dude. Was he out there just having fun, or was he trying to transition over to freestyle moto? What was happening?
Dan Hubbard and Pat were pretty close.
He was very involved on like pit bike freestyle.
Yeah. So
too,
I reached out.
In addition to BMX.
Okay. So I reached out to Dan earlier this week, and I said, hey, my condolences. I know you guys were tight, because for those of you that don't know this and you don't pay attention to the behind-the-scenes stuff in the motocross industry, Dan Hubbard is a no-joke BMX guy.
Yeah, which is so weird, because, by the way, Dan's not a little guy. He's a full-size man.
He is a full-size man, but he was one of the leading people on that movie. Like when they make movies.
He was the dude back. Yeah. He was Jeremy McGrath of the BMX clique back in the day.
That's exactly it. And Dan is still to this day the guy that people talk to about BMX. Like if you're doing a movie and you've got a BMX scene and you need somebody who's a set consultant for BMX, they call Dan. They're like, Dan, we need to know, is this period correct? Is this right? Is this proper? So he's really tied in with that whole group, and I reached out to him earlier this week because I knew that him and Pat knew each other, and he, obviously Pat was quite a bit younger than Dan, but they knew each other, and it's part of his sport, and he was just broken by it. He was like, yeah, I'm completely torn up. This is completely sad for our sport, and it's sad for the day, but at the same time, these guys know what they're doing.
Right. Yeah.
They know to some extent that they're risking their lives every single time they do this stuff.
Same with these kids. These moto kids are the same way, dude.
Yeah.
Every time you get on that bike, you are freaking risking your life.
Better shut up, Jason. Somebody just interrupted us.
Yeah, well, Jason is finally here. Well, that means we can get into our picks. I hope Jason's got his picks, because we're going to make him go first for being late.
Yeah,
I got to bring some happiness in here.
You're in the penalty box.
Yeah, well, we were talking about Pat Casey's passing this week and everything else. And it's truly a sad period when, it's something that happens in these sports, in this sport in particular on the freestyle side. These guys are doing things that you just physically should not be able to do. They're doing things with motorcycles that it's insane. So
it's the limits have been pushed so far, bro.
Well,
it's crazy.
But by the way,
kids need to understand that it's cool to do stuff.
Right.
But man,
I talked about this because I was kind of talking about it I was trying to explain it to my wife. I was like, the freestyle is very different, and there's no room for error.
No.
When you're doing a lot of these freestyle tricks, it's either, if you don't pull it, you either pull it off or you're going to end up paralyzed or dead. That's kind of it in the way these guys ride, especially.
But they do it every day. I mean, you see a brand new video come out every day, bro.
Yeah.
Of like some new content of some kid that's done something, and they pull it off all the time.
Backflip variations, though, and people are just jaded by it.
But dude, look at Colby and Axel. Look at the stuff they do, like you say, every day, dude.
That was a change in the sport for sure.
It's gnarly, dude. Like the backflip, I think killed. Honestly, sport in some respects.
The backflip took it to a new level.
Right.
It took everything to a new level.
But when it makes the crowd so jaded, people don't realize how gnarly that is every
Oh,
time.
God.
And what could go wrong.
What? Having a 245-pound motorcycle over your head as you're maybe 50 feet in the air?
50 feet in the air.
Hey, we're getting ready to drop a gate. We have not done picks, so we got to get going.
Okay.
I got
Waiting on
Let me
Jason.
see.
Are you guys ready? Because they are getting ready to drop it.
Sometimes I would go with a Lawrence for. Let me start off with my picks here. So sometimes I'd go with a Lawrence, but I don't know. I'm on the fence right now with an
Moto
RJ
going to make
Hans
this another
shot.
act of Congress like last week or what?
But then there's there's
Moto, I will have Kyle punch you in the nuts. You were going to do a streamlined version of your picks today. Matter of fact, I'll go first and show you how it's done. Are you ready?
The weather's coming out of the wind is coming out of the west at 7 miles an hour.
Yeah. And because of that, Jet doesn't ride that good with his left hand possibly dinged up. Shut up and give me your picks.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go. 450s. I'm taking Jet, and then Ferrandis, and then AP, and then Cooper, then Adam C. I'm sure you guys have the same 5 in a different order. 250s. I'm going to go against Hunter Lawrence today and say today's the day that Justin Cooper wins. I'm going to put Hunter in second, Shimoda in third, Deegan in fourth, and for my double dark, I'm taking Fares at number 5. Let's keep this train moving. Who's going next?
All right, real simple. Like, let's go with. All right, let's think about this here for a second.
I will punch you in the dick.
I know.
Give me your
I'm
effing
looking
picks.
for them.
Right now. 5 picks now.
5 picks right now. Okay, Jet Lawrence. In 450s, I'm going to go Jet Lawrence number 1. Number 2, I'm going to go with.
Oh, my God.
I'm on the fence on this one.
Kyle,
Okay.
punch him in the nuts.
Okay.
Wow.
That hurt.
Sorry,
This is
he told
funny.
me to.
This is hurting.
Wow.
Okay, I got Jet Lawrence, Dylan Ferrandis, Aaron
Yeah.
Plessinger, Cooper Webb, and I'm going with Norrin in 5th.
Wow.
Oh, you bumped Adam C. and say
Yeah.
your picks are exactly mine, and so I can't believe you disrespected Adam C. like that.
I'm going with the chicken wagon.
All right.
Stretch.
I will definitely go with Jet Lawrence, Dylan Ferrandis. I'm going to go with Adam C, Cooper Webb, and then I'm going to go AP.
There you go.
By the way, that's not bad picks at all because Adam C. was really fast in qualifying today, and I know that's different than a 35-minute moto, but he looked really good on this track.
See, that's where I feel like I haven't seen any of that yet.
Oh, here
you
we go
guys
again.
start the show. You said 12 o'clock this week.
No, we
12
started-
o'clock gate drop.
We started late. We started late today just because of the fact that somebody made off with one of our camera power supplies, and I've been looking everywhere for a camera power supply all morning.
We're a dollar.
Kyle traded it for a Coors Light.
Yeah, damn right it did.
believe
Tall
it.
boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're a dollar waiting on a dime. What do you got?
I'm looking.
What's
I'm
your picks?
looking.
Let's go, dude.
By the way, I want to thank our friends at Straub Distributing for sponsoring the show today. I got Neutral, and then we got some Ghost Energy drink, and I'm drinking some Liquid Death.
Okay.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Hunter Lawrence is holding his own umbrella. What the F? What the F? How does Hunter hold his own umbrella when Stretch should be there?
I will tell you why Hunter's holding his own umbrella.
This is BS. That's why.
No, I had a personal conversation with Sean Brennan about the umbrella situation.
Liar.
I did. No, I'm
You
not
are a
lying.
liar.
I am not lying about
Yes,
this.
you are.
Sean and
You're-
I had a
you're
personal
lying.
conversation about this, and the problem is you are not in the Umbrella Guys Union.
Here's what I know. You are a liar because you're upset that your uncle passed away today in prison, and you're just taking it out on me. And when I say your uncle, I mean Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. He is dead in prison.
I'm saying that the fact is that you are not in the union, and now apparently there has been a grievance put to the union saying that they never want to see you in the
no,
union.
I will be the.
Yeah, it's the Umbrella Guys Union.
I will
So is that
become
like
the
a-
union rep, is what I will
It's-
become.
it's-
I will
it's
take
a-
the
it's a
union over.
full-on
I will be the Jimmy Hoffa of the Umbrella Union if I have
Is
to
the
be.
umbrella union? Is that like
So,
you, is that
so
like you too?
Sean Brennan's doing
like
the
you
Lord's
too.
work for me right now and stopping
No.
you from actually
Sean
becoming an umbrella
is going to make
guy.
it happen for me at the Coliseum. I'm an umbrella dude. And I'm going to shine you guys at the. I'm going to be like, screw the broadcast. I'm an umbrella dude.
All right, so Jet Lawrence going to
Yes.
be number 1.
Yeah.
Dylan Ferrandis number 2.
Yep.
AP
Okay.
Number 3.
Right? Then I got to go with, I'm going to say Cooper Webb, Adam C.
He just stole my picks.
Wow.
Jason's a biter.
All right.
Go ahead, Jason. What's your 250s?
That was it. I went.
250s. Oh.
Okay, so We're gonna go RJ Hampshire.
Okay.
Hayden Deegan.
Wrong.
Tom Viale.
Wrong.
Actually, Hunter Lawrence, Tom Viale.
Sean.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe Chance Hines next.
Wow.
By the way,
are we doing a
Moto
show?
and Jason are kind of like watching my grandpa have a conversation
So
in the middle.
Here's what it is, Jason.
He takes a nap in the middle of
Jason,
it.
Jason,
I'm reading it. I'm guessing right now. dude.
Jason.
Christ.
I'm
guess.
going to do this right now. I'm
was
going to
it?
do this right now. Okay.
Pound
I'm
a
guessing-
ghost.
I'm
and let's
guessing.
go.
Let's just talk
Let's
about
party.
let's talk about this here. Okay.
Okay.
All right. First of all, it's gonna be Hunter Lawrence. Okay. Who's gonna get number one in
No, it's
250s?
not. Not today.
Then-
Can't go Lawrence.
Then I'm thinking Hayden Deegan.
I'm thinking Deegan. Yeah.
Yeah, Hayden
In
Deegan.
second?
Yeah. And then
2 weeks in a row, lightning strikes?
Yep. And then I'm thinking in third. I'm gonna go Tom Viale.
Okay.
Okay. And I don't know, man. Yeah. By the way, you got some Chipotle in that bag?
Well, you know what?
Got some
By the
Chipotle
way,
in that bag?
That's why
good.
I was late. You can't start a show at 11.
Hey, Stretch. This is
You know?
Stretch.
Chipotle
Stretch.
opens
We were
at
late.
11.
Yeah,
we were late because
it does.
Moto Man was building a bomb or something out in the shop, so we were late starting in the first place.
hold
but
on.
we were going to start at 11.
I think I'm getting interrupted here.
This is for Stretch right now.
I think I'm gonna do an RJ
I got
Hampshire.
Hunter, Deegan, Shimoda, Cooper, and
Yeah.
Kitchen. There's Stretch.
You know what?
There you go.
Done.
It hasn't started yet. I'm going to redo mine.
I'm going
Wow.
Pete.
Mine
Here's
were
the
way
deal.
off.
Moto and Jason are both getting docked
by the way-
9 championship points each today.
By the way, did you get my usual order in that?
Oh, dude. I just put it in the cart.
So much.
Here's what I know.
It says add to the bag.
Moving forward, when you don't have your picks ready at
wanna go-
showtime,
do you
you're
wanna go
getting
fishing?
you're getting docked 5 places in the championship. hunt.
Jason, you want to go fishing?
Yeah.
Let's go fishing.
Wait, I just had
Let's go
fishing lessons
fishing.
this week.
Let's go fishing.
Wow.
Fishing
Jason,
lessons.
did you get a ride this week? What have you been doing?
I have not. Well, actually, I did ride last week.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right now, working on the lights, though.
Okay.
There's a night race coming up here at the old GH. Maybe thinking about hitting.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, nice.
Okay.
What do they do in that?
Busted out
Because
the old night riders. I haven't used them for like 7 years, dude. I'm like putting them on a charge.
Putting them on.
do they
and
put up lights around the
it
track
lasts a
as
little
that
bit.
happens too, or is it just the lights from your bike? Like, what do they do out there?
Lights from the bike.
Lights
at
from the
Glen
bike.
Ellen. Lights
Yeah.
from the bike at Glen Ellen.
Well, they got the 10 or 12 hour today, I think.
Yeah, I think they do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
Whatever it is.
I love. We got to get back out to Glen Helen. I love
Look-
that place.
So a little SRA race. Only 2 hours on a Saturday night, bro. 8 to 10.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
How badass would that be, man?
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Age 10.
Yeah.
Do it.
Show up.
Yeah.
Go
Don't get hurt.
do some laps.
Don't get hurt.
Don't get hurt.
Ride fast. Don't
Ride
crash.
fast. Don't crash. Nice. I'm
Wide
all about
open.
it.
Yeah.
By the way, you want to go fishing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to go pee because I'm sleeping after this nap.
All right.
After
I'm
talking
gonna.
to these
You guys
idiots.
haven't shut up for like an hour, dude. It's crazy,
I'm
bro.
gonna jump in.
You don't even
and
listen.
co-
You haven't played any music.
I'm gonna
Nothing.
cover.
I know,
I'm gonna
we
cover.
have no listeners now.
I'm gonna cover some business here right now. I got an 8
Play some effing music, and we got to come back.
Yeah.
We're going to miss the opening of the 250s because you
God,
guys
I'm outta
suck.
here.
It's big 49.
Have you been thinking about getting back into moto? Or do you have an old bike in the shed that